There is no such thing as fairness, and dwelling on it creates despair. I'm certain just about every single one of you can relate to this. You're completely by yourself in your room, curled up in your bed, reminiscing past experiences and deeply desiring love, constantly comparing to the others you see having fun with friends or in relationships. Spend enough time in the world and you'll feel so lonely after seeing these cute couples on social media. Rappers are always bragging about women. Songwriters always putting emotional emphasis on love. Every movie and show has a love story, and the flamboyant women of IG are thirst trapping, and all of this is being shoved in your face while you have no one. No notifications of anyone texting or calling you, no snaps, DMs, no one's making plans or even seemingly cares. You're just wishing someone was right next to you, entertaining you, making you laugh, or just keeping you company, wishing you were having fun, laughing hard with your friends. Yet, even if you were with him, you'd probably be sitting around wishing you were in a relationship or fooling around. You probably know that agonizing feeling of having an immensely vivid dream where you're in love, life is perfect, and then you wake up wishing you were forever asleep, further breeding the desperation and impatience. While anyone could relate and benefit from this video, and a lot of what I say is inversely applicable, I'm specifically talking to men because I'm sure the majority of women can't even comprehend the quiet desperation of loneliness and feelings of being unwanted most men can be stuck in. It's probably mainly the fact that most women have several options, numerous sources of attention, like they're never really that scarce. The fact is 20% of guys get 80% of women. Unless you're born with undeniably attractive genetics, you have to build some sort of value and attraction to get into that 20% and or compete with all the other options, and you're most likely not one of them. You have to realize that there are 8 billion people in this world and you can't just automatically be special to anyone besides your family. The prolific poet Ralph Emerson said, "You have to make the most of yourself because that's all there is of you. You have to build your kingdom if you want a queen." You're probably fiending for love, angrily questioning God for being so unfavorable, just wishing you had a cute loyal girlfriend instead of having to resort to disgustingly lustful instant dopamine, swiping endlessly on all the dating apps in desperation. That, or you're just extremely unsatisfied going in and out of relationships, sleeping with different women, always unfulfilled and distracted, always chasing more. Either way, I know how it is. I've been there. But if you pay attention, you'll learn why being alone can ultimately be your greatest superpower. A wise man can always be found alone. A weak man can always be found in a crowd. Bruce Lee. Considering it to be so much easier, you'd probably rather just distract yourself with shorts or games than dive into the depths of this harsh reality. So props to you if you're actually willing to grow as a person and reshape your outlook by absorbing what I'm about to say. Your attention is the most important asset you have. So if I have it, be deliberate with widening your perspective. Honestly though, this is only a harsh reality if you continue to distract yourself or be complacent and comfortable instead of taking action, resulting in staying average and having to deal with the consequences. Firstly, let me say that there are endless psychology articles and studies that show the numerous benefits of being single: growth, self-reliance, resilience, progression, and hobbies and skills. That's why wasting time and energy chasing women or love can be your biggest downfall. And if you're currently alone and still tuned in, you're blessed. Plus, being alone also includes having no friends, or at least good or close friends. Moreover, there are several studies that prove how much of an impact and influence your friends will have on you, and that's why they say you are who you hang around with. I'd 1000% rather have no friends at all than bad ones that will always try to bring me down to their level and way of thinking, or negatively influence me and peer pressure me. You need to stop tolerating your draining relationships where they just love to complain and be negative, especially when they don't try to listen to advice or want to change. I've been in this situation before, and just because this person is cool and nice, I've been close with them for a while in the friend group, it's really hard to let them go. Yet there's huge importance in dropping these people who don't change their awful ways. It's not toxic, it's frankly self-care. Beneficial, positive influences that are aligned with your ambitions are extremely rare. So if you have no friends, it's most likely a really good thing. If all your homies are always fiending talking about women, try to help them change their mindset and send them this video. And if they don't choose to grow, you have to distance yourself before you're stuck back on their level. Being alone and accepting solitude is almost always necessary, because even if you have good friends, y'all probably won't share the same interests, hobbies, goals, plans, or dreams. And that's why they say success is a lonely road. You have to ask yourself about all the people you let in your life, how are they adding value? Are they actually advantageous to you? Or are they just there to fill a lonely void and suffice craving. Success and happiness favors the risk takers. One of the richest men ever, John D. Rockefeller, said, "Don't be afraid to give up the good for the great." It sounds so harsh and rude of me to say, but yeah, you could have a decent girlfriend and alright friends and just be comfortable. Or you can give them up and get the girl of your dreams and the realest, coolest homies. You might have already gotten your dream girl, and if so, congrats, but are you working towards your dream life? Most of the time, your homies are like shadows, next to you at your brightest moments, but gone when it gets dark. When I was renting my own crib with some other guys and we were always partying, I can't tell you how many people were all of a sudden cool with me. So cool with me, like so friendly. When I'm going through it, quitting smoking, I barely have anyone at all. Next, I'm going to elaborate on the importance of patience and why patience is so crucial for not only accepting solitude, seeing success, but mainly it's important for your mental health. Patience will lead you to deep sadness and insanity. I see a girl my type and my brain immediately just visualizes a relationship with her, yearning for conversation and affection. Right after, I have to remind myself that I'm not allowing myself to be accessible or even open to the idea right now, regardless if she was into me, because I'm patient for what I deserve after focusing on my purpose and achieving big goals. This is an action step you can implement the next time you see a woman like that anywhere. Stop staring or reframe your mindset. The main value of this video, besides the action steps, is you embedding this into your brain and deciding to be grateful you aren't held down by a girlfriend or chasing women at all, and choosing to work hard for your dream girl. Another action step would be to just delete all these dating apps, possibly even Snapchat and Instagram, or just mute all the notifications at least. Stop playing sad love songs and rapping along to songs that are provocative about women. And most importantly, you need to stop desiring so much. Stop fantasizing romantic scenarios and anticipating relationships. Just go out and work for what you deserve. You have to stop feeling sorry for yourself, feeling defeated, and asking God why life has to be like this. Stop worrying about being alone forever and feeling so unwanted and terrible as a person. Stop being so shameful and sad. Everything is alright. One day you'll experience the love and success you so deeply desire. That day isn't as soon as you want it to be. And that effect is counting on the cause you put in. The harder the pain of not experiencing love is, the more of a barrier to entry there is. And that's where you have an advantage to be grateful for. When we get in a desire of needing right now, it pains us every moment we don't have it. And we'll do just about anything for the feeling, which is probably what results in you beating off so much. You're just wishing, praying you could experience something, settling and simping in desperation. It'll never fix your current situation. It'll only make it worse. You have to stop needing so much and be grateful that you're already living in abundance. You've already arrived because the present moment is all we'll ever have. Voltaire once said, "Work spares us from 3 evils: boredom, vice, and need." You have to stop relying on other people or things for your sanity, happiness, purpose, action. You can't really be attached to anyone or anything but your purpose and goals. Only the action you put in will have an effect. The problem is all progress takes place outside of the comfort zone, and you just want to be comfortable all the time. You have to sacrifice your instant gratification, pleasure, and comfort, because while no discipline seems pleasant at the time but painful, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who are trained by it. You being so impatient that things aren't the way you want them to be and dwelling on your sadness and pity, wishing you were someone else, will just make you want to give up on everything. Die. You have to be patient and know that good things take time and won't come easy. Patience is also what will allow you to be consistent in whatever you set out to do without quitting after the first sight of resistance or failure. Failure is the condiment that gives success its flavor. Patience is required on both sides of this video to create change, as the viewer who sits through and chooses to learn, and me having to create this entire presentation from scratch. It's hard to practice patience when you're so used to instant dopamine and satisfaction. This is a big reason why you have to build up the habit of sitting up straight, still, thinking about nothing but your breath. You need to control your problem scanning, comfort craving mind and be able to sit with it alone in your room. This mindfulness, along with abstaining from lustful pleasure and natural dopamine like cold showers and exercise, will all allow you to stop fiending for women so much. Additionally, time management is hard enough if you have college on top of a job, especially if you're trying to be consistent in the gym. Even if you're not in college or lifting, you could have multiple interests, hobbies, ideas, and dreams. And on top of all that, you got hanging with the boys, relaxing, picking up the controller, or consuming content, like all your little vices. You only get 16 hours a day with limited amount of energy and brain power. Time is always passing. We'll never get it back or be as young as we are right now. It's our most valuable asset, besides attention. Everything we do is a sacrifice for something else we could have done. You have a finite number of heartbeats, thoughts, days to live, etc. So imagine automatically always sacrificing almost every single hour you're not working your regular job to hanging out with a woman you don't even end up with. Think about the sacrifice of all your interests, ideas, and goals, especially if y'all don't share any of them and just go on cute little dates or watch Netflix. Especially when a lot of women love to gossip and small minds discuss people. Mainly just, immature, but that's why you have to mature and attract mature people. Also, don't be the person with all these ideas, interests, dreams, and goals that never acts on them. Don't be the thinker who just loves to talk about how ambitious and willing they are. Leonardo da Vinci once said, "I've been impressed with the urgency of doing. Knowing is not enough, we must apply. Being willing is not enough, we must do." When you do something meaningful and challenging, you become addicted to the progression, and you need to be alone. You might not have many goals or interests, and all you really want to do is Netflix and chill. Yeah, everything's about balance. You hear the term work-life balance all the time. But what's the point of being alive if you don't at least try to do something remarkable? Allow me to further illustrate to you why your inability to waste most of your time and money with a shoddy is a blessing. You might disagree, saying this is just my opinion, I built a code, but let me cook. Life is so expensive and it's getting more inflated by the day. Do you genuinely always want to be a slave to a set wage at a job you don't like, constantly worrying about the price of gas and food going up? Especially as a man, when you have to provide for a family, sending your kids to school and supporting any sports they do all the way until college, while paying for your bills, cars, food, fun, etc. If you want to not have to live in worry and stress for the rest of your life, you have to do more than just what's available for everyone. Jim Rohn quotes, "Successful people do what unsuccessful people aren't willing to do. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better." Unsuccessful people will always have stupid excuses to cope and just think rich people are lucky. But the third US president that bought a third of the land said, "I find the harder I work, the more luck I seem to have." You can always work about 40 to 60 hours at any fast food joint or general store for about $10 to $20 an hour, which in comparison is a lot better than living in communist North Korea or being a broke bum with nothing. But with all the expenses and inflation, how obtainable is a life free of stress and worry from this paper that the government prints? Paper that is needed for your family's survival. You hear a lot about financial freedom because this paper has most of the population imprisoned to a set schedule and set of tasks every single day, while still having to be financially anxious and scarce. Nelson Mandela said there is no easy walk to freedom anywhere, and many of us will have to pass through the valley of the shadow of death again and again before we can reach the mountaintop of our desires. I think he knew this to be true for everyone because we can easily be a slave to our own flesh. So do you want to fiend for love so badly all the time that you're always chasing women, sleeping with anyone you can, jumping from relationship to relationship? Truthfully, a girlfriend should be the path to marriage, because what's the point of investing so much time, energy, dedication, and love and loyalty to someone that'll just become a stranger again? And this generation doesn't really treat sex pure or sacred at all, but realistically think of how proud you and your soulmate will be of yourself after always chasing women, or of your 30 bodies once you're devoutly married to this one special person that you're building a family with for the rest of your life. I mean, there has to be some sort of explanation for divorce rates to be so high. One big reason is when jumping from relationship to relationship, you just begin treating them all as disposable and replaceable. I mean, it's always going to start off as infatuated puppy love and take work after that period is over regardless. And you might be able to attract women and obtain relationships, but what kind of women are you attracting? If you're the type of person who is focused on their purpose and achievement of their goals, you'll probably attract the same. But if you have a lot of problems and issues you aren't dealing with, you're going to attract a woman who is the same way, and more importantly, you'll accept it. Everyone has problems, but you don't want to share energies with a problematic woman, especially when sticking your soul train inside of her and literally sharing energies. You don't want to absorb all of her negative energy after she's just been with 20 other dudes. Being in a relationship makes it to the point where you're really comfortable as long as you have her, and you care a lot less about anything you set out to achieve, anything you want to act on. Her love and comfort can make you very complacent, most especially when smoking weed. Perhaps that's all you want though. Average simple life where you work a hard 9 hours to survive. spend the rest of the time relaxing with your shorty, and maybe that's all there is to life. That's most people, honestly. Just finding more improved ways to distract themselves and pass the time with their significant other. Nothing inherently wrong with it. Being alone has a power very few can handle, but you're different. This video found you. You decided to click on it. You're still watching. All of this is truly a destined opportunity to reframe the way you look at being alone and relationships. Pursuing love and female pleasure can sacrifice so much of your potential to have a life of freedom and satisfaction with the one that you end up with, the only one that actually matters. And you can also always tell yourself when you find yourself falling for these women, we're probably not even compatible, or she's a terrible person that would break my heart and disgust me. And while it might be more of a negative cope, it usually is always true and works, because almost all the girls that you're attracted to aren't compatible with you. You always need to realize you might not even be structured enough for a girlfriend right now. Do you usually smell good? Is your room always clean? Are your bed sheets clean? Is your car clean? Are you clean shaven? Like, do you take care of yourself and your things? Do you have enough money for every day and every birthday and Valentine's Day on top of everything you got to take care of? All your responsibility and bills and pleasures? I mean, the thing is, I used to think everything's just destined and there's reasoning for it all happening. And if it doesn't happen, it's just not meant to be. And like, that's one way of looking at life, I suppose, but realistically, everything that ever happens is just cause and effect. You make stuff meant to be, and you can make stuff happen. The only reason for it is your actions or the lack thereof. So if you're a disgusting person inside and out without much value, you can't expect to just magically find an amazing soulmate one day. The cause is you have some value, attraction, confidence. And the effect is you have options and experiences of a romantic relationship. It's very simple. Just like if you're always with different women, you can't expect to still be progressing for success, building and planning for a future wife. So envision these two scenarios with me real quick. One is you're always dwelling on your loneliness, desiring affection, acting on your lustful urges, just constantly chasing women in any way possible, jumping around or investing everything in a relationship just for it to fall apart later and leave you hurt. Imagine doing this from when you're 20 to 35 years old. Or even worse, imagine being in like a 10-year marriage and then you're starting to get serious in the dating market after you've divorced or you're single again, looking for a sincerely quality person. How attractive and valuable are you to the women in comparison to the guy who just accepted being alone, locked in, spent all his extra energy and time he would have wasted on women towards a passion, goals, or just his work in general? Men get more valuable as they age, up to 38, but only because they developed useful skills, built more muscle over time, are wiser, and mainly it's just the fact that they have a decent, steady income with the house and an ability to provide. That's why it'll always be harder to get women when you're younger, because they have the option of much higher valued men versus desperate little boys. An 18-year-old woman could have fun talking to a bunch of sugar daddies and getting money, but as a young guy you have usually no other option but to either chase women or lock in. Which one will it be? I know how hard it is to not fiend for this, to not sit wishing you had anything at all, especially when you had nothing for so long, to not feel sad listening to love songs, seeing it everywhere, especially when there's always ass shoved in your face on social media. You're trying to better yourself in the gym and they're always around you in skin tight clothing, bending down right in your peripheral vision. Rappers always talking about women and bragging. Like, you have to have a lot of discipline, willpower, and commitment. You should also understand that almost everything is set up against you, because everything involving the structure of the world, government, businesses, and media is all based on currency. There are teams of people that sit around and ask,
how can we make as much money as humanly possible off this?
Business is all just competition too, so all the producers want everyone else to be a consumer. They want everyone to be too consumed with love and relationships to compete in their industry. They want all men to be as feminine as possible. What I just learned from a video that I wish I knew so much earlier and makes so much sense is spending all your focus and energy thinking about women and simping for them instead of work and progression is actually really feminine. So it's not just the desperation that is unattractive to women when you chase them, but the absence of the masculine drive for more. And imagine if everyone just initially had to work on themselves. If all men were strong, masculine, hard workers focused on purpose, it would be a lot harder for these industries and businesses to compete, being great in comparison to everyone. This goes for the food being unhealthy, addicting, and staggering for your mind, along with the media. It's all set up for you to be an average, mindlessly drifting consumer. So you not being able to attract women right now will be your biggest advantage if you instead spend the time, energy, money, investing into the future. I don't mean investing like learning a bit of stocks, like picking something you like and giving it your all for the next 5 to 12 years. The guy who made the first car and is responsible for all these F-150s around said, the whole secret of a successful life is to find out what is one's destiny and then do it. Monk and philosopher Swami quotes, take up one idea, make that idea your life, think of it, dream of it, live on that idea. Let the brain, muscles, nerves, every part of your body be full of that idea, and just leave every other idea alone. This is the way to success. Simply not knowing what this idea or purpose is a horrible excuse. Lewis Carroll said, if you don't know where you are going, any road will get you there. And Jesus said, ask and it will be given, search and you will find, knock and the door will be open for you. If you look hard enough, you watch enough videos, if you try enough things, you will find it. The fact is, a man who lacks purpose will distract himself with pleasure. One of the most direly important quotes to embed in your brain is, how you do one thing is how you do everything. It's not really always that black and white, but generally there are two paths to choose, the path of least resistance or the road less traveled. Everything correlates, because if you're healthy, producing and not really consuming, okay with being alone, and overall just hardworking and focused, you'll be in that top percentile of bachelors versus just being an average simp. And it also starts day to day. Waking up early, choosing to do a hard task first, it correlates, because how you do that will show and how you do everything else in the rest of the day. But if you wake up scrolling on reels, just giving your brain that instant dopamine, telling it, yep, this is what we're gonna do, I mean, what else do you expect? Now imagine this, you're one of the best in your field, insanely wealthy, you're shredded, you found your perfect haircut, and now you're 25 to 35 years old with such high value and confidence, you're able to finesse absolutely gorgeous, kind-hearted women anywhere. You don't have to limit yourself to one little state or even country for the rest of your life. Imagine traveling the world and meeting the most quality, beautiful Latinas or Europeans, versus you being average forever, living a mediocre life and accepting whoever you can get in your town. I mean, I hate comparing, and I wish we could all just get along and be accepted. There was a philosopher who said, a creative man is motivated by the desire to achieve, not by the desire to beat others. But competition is absolutely essential, especially when you know about business and the fact that usually women want to pick their best option. And if they're attractive, they'll always have driven men flirting with them, trying to garner their attention while you're in a relationship with her. The biggest thing of this all is most of the time women do not want to be put on the pedestal as the constant most important thing in your life. They want you to have interests, hobbies, passions, goals, dreams, and most importantly, achievements. They don't want to be your only source of happiness whatsoever. They usually don't want a fragile pushover, but instead they want a confident, masculine leader. The goal of an ideal partner isn't to complete you, it's to augment you, meaning you can't rely on someone to be half of your puzzle pieces. You have to first build your puzzle, and your partner is just a frame around it. So don't chase the butterflies, my friend. Build and plant the garden and decorate your soul. You'll get your flowers, and they'll surely come to you. It will be a hard reality to accept for a while, but you have to meditate on the fact that it will come in its time in the best way possible when you deserve it. There's a lot more to life than just women. Decide to become a rare breed of man that ignores his primal monkey mind and becomes celibate solely for the purpose of focus and the future reward. It all starts and ends in the mind. The most crucial skill is how you think. When you stop fapping, you begin to realize how much power you give to women constantly just because you act on your urges, and you'll become so much stronger, more attractive, more masculine. No matter how much of an urge you have for love or pleasure, channel that energy into something greater. There could be a huge list of reasons why you shouldn't fap that you read right before you do it, and it still doesn't stop you. You have to be wise and disciplined enough to understand and remind yourself that the cheap and weak addiction to physical pleasure will always crave more and more, leaving you unsatisfied until you are deeply ashamed and stop you from your greatest potential. You have to be mature, stop being a degenerate, do what's right, do what would make your mom and your grandma proud. Don't do it just because you want to and you can, and most people do it, and you didn't choose to have this urge and these hormones. There are unlimited videos to watch that will convince you why semen retention will change your life. Videos that list multiple in-depth reasons, like the fact that you signal to your brain you've accomplished the mating and the reproducing process every single time you let one out. And if you didn't do it, you'd have no choice but to focus on success. You're not only wasting energy and time, but there are literally nutrients in your sperm like phosphorus that are essential for energy and productivity, even brain development, that you waste for no reason. You are going to gain so much mental clarity if you abstain from ejaculation. And this video took hours of dedication and work, but it might genuinely help people, and it would have never happened if I had a girlfriend like I've been previously intensely desiring. That's just one example of one little video. Now imagine the effect on a way larger scale. Have higher standards for yourself, expect more input from your day-to-day. The literal GOAT of basketball said, you have to expect great things from yourself before you can do them. Every single like and subscriber makes me truly ecstatic and motivated to post more. I get a notification on my phone for every single comment, and I almost immediately reply to them. So I appreciate you for making me smile just by speaking your mind. I'll answer any questions down there. Subscribe to see more positive, helpful, and informative content like this in the future to help you towards success and happiness. I posted the script of the video, so if you're really serious about change, you'll rewatch the video on 2 times while skimming over it. I also posted all the other resources used to make the video, so if you have something valuable you want to speak on and you want to do a presentation style like this, you can learn through that. But until next time, peace.